Hello, I'm Reverend Kenny Callahan, the pastor of Metropolitan Community Church of Richmond. The sacred text for the third Sunday of Advent is taken from Luke's story, the third chapter, verses 7 to 18. At first, when I read this sacred text, it was easy to think that John the Baptist is scolding or chastising this crowd as they were coming to be baptized. But then after further thought, I don't believe John is scolding them. Instead, he is wanting them to know that living a life of faith calls them and empowers them to live differently, to make changes in their lives, especially within their attitudes regarding the ways they live and the ways that they treat others. John warns the crowd against thinking that their ancestry was enough for them to inherit the kingdom of God, because it doesn't matter where one comes from, but instead what does matter is how one chooses to live their life. So when he is asked, he gave a few examples like sharing what they had with those who have nothing, and not to take more than what they needed. He told the tax collectors and the soldiers to do their job and to not take advantage of others because of their position. And what I find extraordinary is how John uses basic logic and simple thinking about how we should treat people. He says, share, be fair, don't be mean, and don't bully people. John does not tell the crowd that they have to living a spiritual life means that they would live exactly the way he chooses to live. He doesn't ask the tax collectors to abandon or betray Rome, and he does not urge soldiers to live a life of passivity. Instead, he points them to the very places in which they already live and work, love and laugh, struggle and strive, and suggests to them that these places are precisely where God calls them to be and where God is at work in and through them. John is pointing out all the places that we have a chance to live our faith here and now, in a culture motivated by fear and favors indulgence over compassion and self-centeredness over sacrifice. But that still provides countless opportunities to witness and share God's desire to love us and to be with us, that God chooses to meet us where and as we are, and that God lovingly accepts us. And as we meet God and are transformed by love, God makes good use of us to care for those around us and in our world. Being called a pack of snakes may not sound so joyful, but it is a call to live into God's ways and to prepare ourselves for the baby born in a manger, who transforms us into our very best selves and gives us joy. John reminds us that new life is possible and can flourish in our hearts and in our world when we listen for the wisdom of God. And as we do, we'll realize that God is doing something very special, something very new and exciting within us. Thanks be to God.